Alright, so once you've logged in, student is the name, student is the password. Up here in the menu bar, click on Go, connect to server. It should say EBShare 2. Click Connect. And then over here, use your network login. And connect. Now, procedure sheet says double-click Churchill. Students, double-click. And then use the little wheel on the mouse to just scroll down slowly and find Amy DX for drawing exploration, Amy DP for drawing and painting. Double-click. In there you'll see Pop Art Skateboard Project and another folder, Pop Art Stock. Now, you want to look through these photos. You can scroll with this button here, just click and drag to find the photo that you want to use for your assignment. All right. Ones that have word bubbles like that, you could always choose to add something inside the word bubble depending on where it fits into your overall design. But there are tons and tons and tons of images on here that you can choose from. Okay, so I'm going to find one that I want to use, and I like this one. So now that I've found that in this photo here, I'm going to drag it down into Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is down here on the dock, right? AI. So I click and I drag it down into Adobe Illustrator. Now once it opens in Adobe Illustrator, it's going to be on its own document and it's its own size. Next step on the procedure sheet says minimize the Illustrator window by clicking the yellow light in the upper left hand corner of the window. So up here, minimize it by clicking on the yellow light. All right, so minimize it, and that goes down here. Now, it says click back on this and click the back arrow here, and it wants you to open the Pop Art Skateboard Clipping Mask blank. All right, now this is going to be the master for everybody to use. So once I click and drag it into Photoshop or into Illustrator, you see my other document is here, and here's the new one. Now this is the clipping mask template. All right, I'll show you how to use that in a minute. So it said click back window to double click the Pop Art Skateboard Clipping Mask. I did that. Once it opens, click the other open window where your comic image is open, which is right here. All right, so I want to click back on my comic image. Now I want to get this piece onto this document. So I've got these two documents here. So what it says is, using the select tool, which is the black arrow, it's generally the default tool, it's right here. Using the select tool, click on the image so you see the blue box around it. All right, that's called a bounding box, selection box. And then the next step says you want to copy it and paste it from here. So the easiest and quickest way to do that is press the Command key, press C, W, V. So I held the Command key with my thumb, I pressed the C key, then the W key, then the V key. Now that just pasted it onto my landing document where the template is. Now it says I need to make this big enough to fit that. So right now it already has the bounding box on it. So all I need to do is click on a corner and hold Shift so that it stays in that square format and enlarges. All right, let me zoom out a little bit here. See how it enlarged it? Okay. I'm going to enlarge it even more so that it fills the size of that skateboard. So I click on it, press the Shift key, and drag and make it really, really big. Now I can see it's still not as big, so I'm going to move it. If I grab the middle here, see where I'm at? If I grab the middle, press Shift and drag, it just enlarges it straight out from the middle. Now, I'm almost as big as the piece, and if I wanted to, I could look at it and say, you know what, that's big enough because this area of the skateboard is what's going to be my template. All right, so next step. Select the skateboard outline by clicking on the black outline. So this is the skateboard outline right here. If I press and select that's the outline, move the skateboard in front of the comic image. So I'm going to bring it over here in front of the comic image. Now it says right click on the mouse and where it says arrange, come over here, bring to front. Now that skateboard layer is in front of the comic image. Now it says to rotate the skateboard template to select the area of composition you want to use by moving the mouse just outside one of the anchor points until you see the curved arrows. So you can see if I bring this over here close to those anchor points, you can see the curved arrow. If I put it over here, you can see the curved arrow. Anywhere outside those anchor points, it will give me the curved arrow. If by accident I click off and deselect the template, nothing's going to move. So I have to make sure I'm on that. I can click it to get that selection box on there again. And now I want to rotate it to find my compositional area. So I'm just clicking and dragging it around. And I'm going to try to find the best area for this piece. Now, I think that looks pretty cool because I can see where the outline of the crop is going to be, but I think I want a little bit of that thumb. So I'm going to select the comic now, and I'm going to move the comic down so I can get a little bit of that thumb into the piece, and I can still see the guy's eyes, and it's still filling the space except for up here. So instead of moving this, I'm just going to enlarge this. So I'm just going to click and stretch it a little bit. Just click and drag and stretch it a little bit. And now I've got that whole skateboard inside, or that whole design inside that skateboard shape. Once I have the template over the area using the black arrow, click and drag over both images. So I'm going to click and drag over both images. That selects the comic as well as the skateboard. Next step says right click. Okay, I right click, and now right here it says make clipping mask. This is going to cut the image, and it's going to give me just the information that's inside the skateboard. So now this is what I need to use as reference for my piece. Now I need to make this fit on the page. So now that it's selected, I know it's selected because it still has this information on it. I'm just going to click, drag it. It's going off the page here, so I need to rotate it a little bit and then bring it so that it's inside these dotted lines on all four sides. That's the print tiling area. Anything that's outside of that will get cut off, and I don't want anything to get cut off. So now that it's inside the print tiling area, the next step says go to File in the upper left-hand corner here, File Print. It's down the bottom. All right. Print dialog comes up. I'm selecting the 2320. I can see that it's on the page, and I'm going to hit print. Now I'm done. I'm not saving this. So next step says go to the upper left-hand corner, black Apple menu, click on that, and log out at the bottom. It's going to ask you if you want to save the Illustrator document. You're going to say no, and then you're logged out and all done.